Is it really just enough to tell an entertaining story? Does a writer have a responsibility to teach a moral as well? Actually, it's mostly to make money, but it can't hurt to educate the audience too. And by educate, I mean preach to. But what cause should an author take up? There are many problems that plague our rapidly changing modern world. Yet there is one issue that any author can champion without investing time into lengthy and difficult research: environmentalism. Now, some may mistakenly believe that extensive research helps an author discuss the complex and nuanced issue of environmentalism. Fear not. If it's one thing that Hollywood has shown us, it's that being knowledgeable in the issues one is presenting is completely optional and often counterproductive. You see, tackling a sensitive and complex problem takes time and effort, both of which we need to avoid at all cost. Now, the great thing about environmentalism is that it can be inserted into any genre, much like high fructose corn syrup is for food. Be sure to shoehorn that theme in, no matter how much it doesn't fit. On a fantasy quest to stop a Dark Lord, be sure to completely derail the plot so the resident Wood Elves can teach the protagonist how to be at one with nature. Exploring the stars? Make sure the crew visits a planet of aliens directly ripped off from Native Americans, and that they learn a valuable lesson on ecology. Be careful though, not of shamelessly appropriating Native American culture, but of slowing the story down by exploring the complex alien ecosystem of the planet. A realistic portrayal of an ecosystem would only bore the audience, or at worst, make your Native American stand-ins appear imperfect. Speaking of realism, avoid showing realistic predator-prey relationships, and be sure to only highlight the positive traits of the natural world. We can't have our moral undermined by Mother Nature herself, who is a powerful and cruel force that lays low even the greatest of mankind's works with a terrible fury. Never mention all of the horrible and nightmarish parasites and apex predators that stalked the world and that drove our ancestors to cower and hide into darkness for fear of being devoured alive. Instead, portray all animals as innocent and kind compared to the evil corporations that plan to bulldoze their happy forests. Now, environmentalism has the added bonus of being easy to make villains for. The most common is the evil corporation. Real-world corporations often use short-sighted means that cause environmental harm as a byproduct of their manufacturing processes. But explaining all of that to the audience is boring. So let's make our corporation evil for no reason at all. Have them go out of their way to destroy the environment even if it costs them money. At no point should the evil corporation even consider the massive PR hit they would take by turning pristine wilderness into a parking lot for a strip mall. Also, be sure that no one in the evil corporation is smart enough to point out that the goods and services provided by the corporation allow them to make a profit and thus employ people and grow the economy. Letting them actually have a reasonable argument would only undermine our own. Although we have an evil corporation, there must be more we can do to contrast them with the heroes. Why, there is! Our heroes are one with nature, unlike those evil technology-loving corporate stooges. Be sure to give the villains all kinds of advanced technology, from carrier-sized bulldozers to arsenals of advanced weapons and even suits of power armor. Not so subtly suggest that technology is fundamentally evil and bad, unlike our nature-loving heroes. Just be sure to never address the fact that technology empowers individuals, and that finding the perfect balance between nature and civilization will ultimately require a technological solution. Why, we can even have our heroes steal the villains' technology and use it against them without acknowledging the obvious irony. With the villains defeated and harmony and nature restored, we can safely end the story. There is no need to address that the villainous corporations still exist, and even if they were wiped out, it doesn't remove the hyper-consumer economy that enabled their greed in the first place. Also, do not address that the ignorant consumer is somewhat responsible for tacitly supporting the evil corporations by buying their product. Also, don't address that a consumerist capitalist system requires resources to grow the infrastructure that maintains our very civilization. You know, the one that created the internet that you're watching this video on? However, the biggest pitfall to avoid is actually offering any viable solutions to the problem of environmental destruction. If one must give some kind of alternative, just tell the audience to recycle more something. After all, preaching about environmentalism is not actually about saving the environment, it's all about making the audience feel good about themselves. Well, and also stroking the author's massive ego.